says 8 o'clock on my computer, 80. We're going live. So yeah, I haven't got a new intro sorted, so we're not going to do it. We're just going to go straight into it tonight.
Raw dog that shit.
Well, yeah, I need to fucking get it sorted so that we can actually have an intro for the after hours. If anyone fancies making one, please, and send it to me.
Payment in kind from Andy.
Yeah. You can have a night with Brad. So just obviously we're going live. Instagram. We've got a few people on Instagram that brought this to our attention over the last few days as well. So yeah, basically, if you don't know what's been going on, where have you been, really? Yeah. Because we've been quite vocal over the last few days again. There's something surprising. But basically, it came to our attention. So if I just call up the messages from Brotherhood of Nod are here. Hey guys, we've got the GT guys going in. So I had several people message me the other day. Obviously, we spoke originally about the Chrono Gate incident.
Yeah.
I just realised actually Court's here and I haven't introduced him. So we've got Court from Nemtac here, Nemtac podcast. We were.
In case you thought Carrier had really changed.
Yeah. No, just for everyone who's tuning in, we were actually meant to be recording something with Nemtac as a pre-recorded tonight, but we spoke the other day, myself and Court, and with the guys as well, and we felt this was more important to discuss than...
Yeah, especially with the upcoming events. I mean, you've got NAF coming up real soon, and something like this you need to get out pretty sharpish, because not that I want to go down the whole, shit on NAF route, which I love to do. It's just something people should know about pretty sharpish, really.
Yeah, we need to let people know so they can actually potentially action this.
Make good choices.
Yeah.
Wise choices.
This is it. So, Elliot John Barry said, Courtney, will you sign my taint on Instagram?
Yes, always. I knew it'd just devolve into degeneracy, the chat, straight away.
So, yeah, I had a couple of messages the other day from a couple of people who've asked to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. So one of them put, I'm sure you're aware of the NAF Chrono situation. They've retracted the statement online, which they did so. We'll come back to that in a minute. But are still offering the Chrono skip. Just thought of letting you know if you wanted to talk about it, as Ground Zero is my home site. And that'll become important in a minute as well. Hi, just to make you aware, the people down at Ground Zero who've officially chronographed players' guns ready for NAF is honestly disgusting. To which I responded, so funnily enough, you're not the first person to mention this. And he responded back with a picture of the actual tags they're using off of Amazon. And said, so people are getting these yellow tags and are being told to go to H with this yellow tag where he would replace it for a coloured one. So for those who don't know what actually happened in the first place, basically NAF were offering the opportunity for people to pre-chrono their guns because, why would you actually put the staff into actually getting people chronoed pretty sharpish?
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of understand the sentiment. Because the chrono queue's notoriously a long queue.
That's not an excuse to completely disregard player safety.
No, I think it potentially came from a good place, but
yeah, I get why they'd want to do it.
Yeah, I didn't think they asked anyone if they thought it was a good idea before they just put it out in the ether. Because you'd run it past a mate, and your mate would normally say, "No, mate, that's a fucking stupid idea," and here's why. And then you go, "Oh yeah, good point." Yeah, and then you wouldn't do it, would you?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't quite know what they're thinking. Surely it shouldn't work with insurance because.
Oh, this is it. I think it probably completely invalidates their insurance, whether they're aware of that or not.
Yeah, this is it. So Brotherhood of Nod on Instagram has said that him and the boys are going to NAF, but probably won't be playing now because they're too worried about getting injured. So they paid for a player ticket, but nah, man, fuck that is their comment. Even saying pre-chrono sounds dumb to GT. That's Brad. Aidan Smith Music says it goes against the insurance.
What was the time span for pre-chrono again? Was it like the day before?
It didn't actually really say. I think it was up to the
weekend. They said
that's a lot of time. I mean,
let me find the original post.
You can do a lot in a week, can't you?
Yeah.
Well, it said
it that day. It was
it was. So we posted it up the day it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we posted it up 2 weeks ago. And I said, want to avoid having to queue for the chronos at NAF 24, play at Ground Zero from now until Saturday the 17th of August. So you've got a good month and a half there.
Yeah.
Month to a month and a half there. Which the 17th of August is the last regular game day before NAF. Get your guns chronoed there and you won't need to get them checked again at NAF.
That is such a bad idea, isn't it?
So let's dive into this, because
this is it. It's one of those things, the more you think about it, the worse it gets.
The chrono queue, so the reason it was so shit last year, no word of a lie, half the people on the chrono queue were getting smashed. Like I went at about lunchtime because I went before Adam and Adi arrived, and there was already sort of like 3 or 4 bottles lined up in front of them on the chrono point, like. Why, for a start, you're meant to be carrying out like a safety. It's meant to be a safety critical role when you think about airsoft. You are checking that people are complying with the cycle.
Yeah, that's another thing I can't quite grasp how they cross that bridge as far as insurance is concerned, because you can't. Most safety briefs will say you can't play under the influence of alcohol or drugs, but there's a beer tent. So don't get me wrong.
And they're not checking anything or anyone.
Normally, when we used to go to NAF, we'd say, right, that's enough now. Let's go for a few pints and call it a day because it's hot or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go for a few pints and then get back into it. It's just a bad idea.
No, but people do and would, because nobody's checking, nobody's paying attention to anything, whether you're.
I think you can genuinely go out onto games like
whether you've chronoed. Any of that. Nobody's.
I was going to say that they claim that they breathalyze people. I did not see one person get pulled over, and you could tell. We were sitting there looking at people going, "They're fucked. They're fucked. They're fucked. They're fucked."
Staggering out into the game zone. Yeah. I mean, we've been there for I think it must have been 3 years in a row now, and I've never seen a breathalyzer or anything. There's normally one marshal just making sure people have their iPro on. And
not even that most of the time.
I've only ever seen one person breathalyzed at a game, and that was Brad at the Warzone weekend, because he actually asked to be breathalyzed before going out to play.
Aidan Smith Music says he's had issues with drunk players just last year.
Yeah, there's someone else saying that as well. They bumped into a drunk player last year, and this is it. There's no excuse with any of this shit in the first place at the end of the day.
No, I mean, like, the vast majority of people have common sense, you'd like to think.
Yeah.
But there are some idiots out there that will go and ruin it for everyone else. So.
I mean, it's obvious when they had literally had to pull the post down for the pre-chrono thing because it was entirely negative. I didn't see one defensive comment. I mean, the price thing, there was people in there defending it, etc. Understandably, it's a bit of a split down the middle issue, that was. But as far as the chrono thing was concerned, everyone just went, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Because I reached out to Luke, Negative Airsoft, and he said, yeah, I've seen it, this is fucked. And then he put a post out straight away as well.
Yeah.
Because even he said, this is ridiculous. When the whole sort of community goes, bad idea, and they pull it down, you'd think they'd just let it lie then. Think, right,
not pull it down and then still do it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, we've said, because we don't tend to harp on about NAF anymore in the podcast, because that's how we started our podcast, because we noticed the price had gone up, etc. So that's what sort of kicked us into gear, getting our podcast started. And we sort of said, look, to deal with the chrono queue, where the ASG tent was last year, they could have built a couple of temporary stalls, like shooting stands, and had a couple more marshals on there, and a few more chronos.
They have the whole upstairs though, Courtney. They've got the hall upstairs that they just open up and you can just walk up there.
That's your shooting range, isn't it? Yeah.
Shut it down as a shooting range. If they want to sort the guns out, get up on the fucking Saturday morning.
Have certain times when you know it's going to be busy, dedicate that to chrono. When it's less busy, sure, open it up as a shooting range. But
I mean, even or better, it's probably not the best idea. But if they did want to do like a pre-chrono thing, similar to what they've done now, where they're saying, look, you can chrono the week before, but you have to leave your rifle with us, tagged.
Yeah.
With your name on it, address, etc. So you have to provide your ID when you come collect your rifle, but we know it's been chronoed. You can just collect it when you sign in. That would be a simple way to do it. Don't get me wrong, I don't like the idea of leaving my ship with someone else, but
it's an option.
It would be an option for the locals. That would be a constructive idea. But as per usual, they just ignore the comments, bury their head in the sand, and carry on.
They also claimed it was a hack, but it clearly wasn't.
I heard that, but
there was. This is all now. The truth behind this whole thing about it being a hack. To be fair, I've not seen anything official come out from anyone to do with National Airsoft Festival saying that they were hacked.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. I heard rumours, but I didn't see anything like substantive.
No, this is it. So I mean, the whole thing about a hack. To be fair, we can't tell people that is the fact because we don't know for definite. But it's a fact as well, like, through this whole ordeal, really, we've had a couple of the vendors that we've known have actually kicked off at us on social media, myself personally, because I know them, for speaking out against NAF. But we also discussed the other day as well that NAF could be more inclusive, why are they limiting it to just one, say, Kydex stall? Why are they limiting it to one patch vendor? At the end of the day, it's meant to be a festival up to anyone that wants to.
I think you should have all aspects.
They capitalised on it a bit too hard, really, because I think it's because they had the monopoly on it. But you are starting to see some competitors pop up. Like, for instance, most of the NEMTAC group are going to the Rift event over that weekend instead. I think just one of us is going. Elliot, he's going to the NAF event.
Well, we're going to Gunman Airsoft Midlands.
I was going to say we've had, for the price of NAF, 2 weekenders basically.
In fairness,
Walsey popped up earlier and said the Warzone weekender was infinitely better than NAF, and I think we couldn't agree more with that, and we're looking forward to the Gunman weekender as well. So. And
also talking about chrono, and Silky's got here that they're going to happily chrono on the Saturday morning, throughout the day, and again on the Sunday, which is the way to do it.
That's what it should be done. Yeah.
When there's that's only 40, 50, 60 people, something like that. The Gunman weekender, and they're going to be checking it that frequently. There's 3,000 players at NAF. And the thing that's got me...
Have you got booked now? Is it just shy of 3,000?
Hang on. We'll find out. Let's have a look.
Saw it.
Our executive research desk is missing.
Yeah, Dan's not here. We will find out that information for you.
I'm getting it.
Who can get this?
I've noticed the
2,642.
Yeah, they've sold out private toilets though.
Don't get me started on the fucking private toilet situation. Jesus.
Yeah.
Well, they're not really anymore, are they? Because you can't have it where you want it, and you still have to walk miles to it.
It's like Chairsofter said on our podcast. He just went, "You're paying for a padlock."
Pretty much, yeah. That you could buy yourself, and
then someone said, "Yeah, just buy one yourself."
Yeah.
Just chuck it on.
Kez on YouTube says, Kez on YouTube says, "Thing is, do they have the marshals for that though?" Well, get the fucking marshals. There's no excuse. There is literally no excuse. I
don't know if site owners or marshals might be able to answer.
Well, if memory serves, as a site owner, you can go to
marshals per. You would think.
Like Dan says, yes, my favourite subject at one stage was private toilets. Well, if you know my mates, you'd understand. But the marshal thing, the quantity of marshals, if memory serves, they allow site owners to go for free. Is that still a thing to NAF? Now,
I believe so.
If you help out with the marshalling, I might be mistaken.
I think it was open. I want to say I saw it was open to some nominated marshals as well. Like if the owner themselves couldn't go, they could nominate marshals.
They could rope together 10 locals who play their regular and just say, "Look, we'll knock you a tenner off if you just help us on the first day for an hour."
There's There's ways and means, isn't there?
Yeah. It's
not we'll give you a voucher for a couple of drinks in the bar in the evening or something, like just a little token just to help them out for literally an hour.
Yeah, there's a will, there's a way, isn't there? It's I don't know. It's a bit of a shit show. I mean, they've reduced the player numbers, I think, as well, haven't they? From 3.
They did that on the sneaky as well. It went from 3,400 when they realised they weren't getting the numbers. That dropped.
Yeah, I think they dropped that. I might be wrong, but just a guess. I'm guessing they dropped the numbers because they would have paid the insurance for 3,500 players. Had all this blowback from the community going, well, the price has gone up, and they've probably said we're probably not going to fill that. They've renegotiated the insurance and dropped the numbers. I'd guess.
So they've only got a week and a half to sell the last 400 tickets, though.
Yeah,
they close it the week before NAF, don't they? And
I suppose if they don't fill up completely, they could take walk-ons.
The thing that as well that gets me right is how many of these people that have booked onto this are the ones that are going to be kicking off in the social medias, but will still go because they want to go and get tanked up and.
Yeah, I mean there is going to be a few of those. I think a lot of the diehard players who supported NAF are going to go as well, or the people who just didn't really follow it. I mean,
Perry and Facebook as well saying they don't seem to care much about player safety. To be honest, no, they don't. This is it. There's been no communication at all throughout this entire.
The legendary Peter Wellows has entered the chat. I've just noticed on YouTube.
Yeah,
he's the one who sent Howard that letter.
This is the infamous. Is this the "Don't be poor" guy?
Yeah.
Peter is the official "Don't be poor" guy.
Peter, the absolute giga chad. But
this is where it all started, though. You think this is where all the outcry started?
You started all this, Peter.
Yeah, it's your
fault.
How do you feel? Pre-chronoing is Peter's fault. But no, it's literally just been non-stop. So NAF offered us the opportunity to go along for the nominal fee of a penny each. By this point, we'd said no, because they basically wanted us to try and sell this event to people as well. We're already going to do them anyway. Why would we then plug an event that we don't believe in?
I think the premise, the core idea of the Airsoft Festival itself is a good one. I think it is good. It's a good festival. The gameplay isn't so good, but I think that's a numbers issue and staffing issue and a little bit of the site. Because it's very sort of heavy rhododendron area in certain areas. It's just tunnels. So with that quantity of players, it's just a shit show. But I think they've got a bit big for the boots, got a bit cocky, put prices up too soon without liaising properly with their customer base, and then it's bit them in the arse. I don't think they'll learn the lesson because they've made the numbers this year.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because people are just...
It just shows that some people just have no principles that they'll stand by.
Yeah. Like they'll whinge about it, but then you're still paid to go, so you're not really helping the situation, are you? So
no, I mean, I very nearly went for camping only this year. I was very torn because I didn't realise the Rift event was coming up and it was on the same weekend, basically. Yeah. But what I wanted to do was go there camping only and just interview people. Yeah. Maybe do a bit of a meme video, but nothing serious. But I wanted to interview people on their thoughts. But it sort of put me off because I just figured, well, everyone who's booked to go are either going to be sort of hardcore defenders of the whole NAF problem.
They're going to be biased, aren't they?
Yeah, there's going to be a certain bias with it. I just wanted to go for the meme, really. I was going to do the whole louder the crowder, NAF's overpriced this year, change my mind type thing with the banner. But I just thought, well, it's just not worth it.
Keith's saying that apparently people are now trying to get refunds, though. Well, this is something else that we've been discussing today in the Gunfighter Tactical team chat, and we were having a little chat about beforehand. Would them negligently allowing people the opportunity to pre-chrono their guns to then go away and change it and not re-chronoing them, could that potentially break their terms and conditions because they're then making an unsafe environment?
It's a cause to say, look, I don't feel comfortable going now. You're doing the pre-chrono. I'd like a refund, please. And then,
and this is their own.
Not that I'd encourage it, but you could go to. So you could make formal complaints, things like that. Not that I'd recommend it because it's just a bit shit stirry. But yeah, it's not. I don't know how to put it. It's not a comfortable position for them to be in, is it? They've put themselves in a hole, but they seem to keep digging. I mean, they dropped the price for the tickets, which was nice eventually, but I think it was a bit too little, too late by then.
They didn't even drop it though. They just said we're going to freeze it at the higher price anyway.
I thought they dropped it. They kept it at the early bird price. So they did keep it lower to play devil's
lower
advocate.
than it would have been. It was still an increase.
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest problems that put me off was, obviously I'm a tech by trade. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So I was going to go, because I don't tend to buy new rifles in, because UCARA, which is a whole different kettle of fish, it's an expensive thing to get into before you even start selling rifles, for me anyway. So I was just going to get all my second-hand rifles that I've been gathering, done up nicely, give them a warranty, that sort of stuff. May say 5 or 6 rifles out in the second-hand sale area with my tech spec sheets and say, look, take it or leave it, make some sales, pay for the weekend, enjoy the weekend, and then come back. But then they went, no, you'd have to rent a stall, there's certain things you'd have to do, and the stalls are expensive, which is what I quite like about that the Shift Your Rift just gone this year. They were just like, yeah, just come set up a stall, do what you want.
Keith's saying that as they've breached the T's and C's now, you have evidence to claim against the visa guarantee as a breach of consumer contracts. Just on a side note, before we lost that.
Noted.
But yeah, I was just going to say the other thing as well is that airsoft vendors, it's a monopoly. Like, if you're not on the team, basically, then
it's what I found quite strange was certain companies could be there. I don't quite know how they work it, but you couldn't buy from the vendor there, but you could go over to their tent and buy it from the site shop and do it that way. And I was like, nah.
Even that though, that's dropped down over the years in quality, and it's even like, you know, you can go on there and they go, oh yeah, we'll sell you team patches. Well, I ordered one last year, and I don't know where they got it from, but the state of it was horrendous. What did we go?
Oh yes, Greg Poops McCool in the chat. He's put the Kalana thing. You know, that payment thing where you can pay multiple things. So if you want to just really ramp up the debt and interest, then go for it that way. I'm no fan of that either. I mean, it's a means to an end, I suppose. But I don't quite understand why they got rid of the deposit. You know, you could put like a deposit down, then pay for the balance later.
Well, this is it. You know, even like the major festivals will do that. And then, like, if you're doing it, I suppose with Klarna, I'd assume they get the money up front because it's like a credit agreement, isn't it? So they'll get paid their full amount, and then it's down to the player to then pay it off. So they don't care because they're still 130 quid up or whatever it is. Whereas if you didn't do it, if you did it that way, if someone then goes, no, actually I'm not coming, they've paid a deposit, but they're not getting paid the rest of the money.
Yeah.
Yes, Greg. Fuck you. Sorry, just reading the chat. Any excuse to bully Greg. But no, we're definitely going to be attending the Rift event this year because the last one was a fantastic event, and it was really, I don't know how to describe it. It's consumer friendly and it's business friendly. So if you wanted to go and just sell your stuff, you can just bring a table, chuck it up by a tent, and it sort of felt like NAF used to, where it was that sort of old school, just search around for good deals. And that was sort of the fun of it. You know, you're having a wander around the festival, checking out what's going, and you can find some cool things. We found some really cool things at the Rift event this year. So that's another thing I'll be looking forward to if they're doing it this time round. I imagine they are. And also the terrains are very, very different. Have you been to that site where they held Shift Your Rift?
No, I haven't yet, no.
It's an old airbase. It's enormous.
It's a huge site. They have vehicles and all sorts. It looks good, but it's just getting down there. We haven't had the opportunity as yet. It is on the list.
We do want to, yeah.
I'd recommend it. I think it took us about 2 hours to get down there, but it is worth a trip. 100% worth a trip.
Yeah, from what we saw on socials and stuff like that, it looked like a really good event. Me and Ailey were like, we should have gone to that now.
Yeah.
But I think we were busy that weekend.
We were doing something else. I can't remember, but
yeah, I had something else on as well. We may have already been going somewhere. That might have been it. I can't remember.
Yeah, I
now.
think we were somewhere else, but can't remember. But yeah, it did look good.
Do you think all these other festivals popping up, putting their festivals at the same time as NAF is a good or a bad thing?
It's a good thing. It's
I
choice.
think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of forces choice, though, doesn't it?
As time goes on as well, I'm hoping that it'll be used as an opportunity for people to actually speak with their wallets and march away from that and go, well, why would I go to this when I can go to this event, which is half the price and a much better atmosphere?
Like I said, we've had 2 weekenders for the same price, or less actually, than we would have paid for NAF.
Yeah.
And like we've already been to Warzone, that was amazing. I'm anticipating GAN to be amazing as well. Like we're going to have no issues, and they take player safety seriously, and that's what matters to me personally. So
yeah.
AI, now I think you mentioned it earlier, but AI 500. I don't know if we're going to be going to that this year. Do we know much about that?
I don't think Andy can it?
Or can you not? No, you can't. Can you?
What's that? AI 500. Oh yeah, no, I'm not allowed to go. Those who don't know, AI 500, another event that's gone really downhill in recent years.
I've never been to one. I'd like to go, but I've heard bad things.
Yeah, no, me and Adam, I think that was where me and Adam actually reconnected after about 3 or 4 years not bumping into each other, was just after COVID down at Dover, weren't it?
Yeah.
First one they did after COVID. But they have, again, they've got complacent with their player base at the end of the day. I mean, the main reason I can't do the next one is more the fact that it's at Anzio. And seeing as I'm not allowed to play at any F&O sites, I don't think Adam can with his new tattoo, but that's another story for another day. As soon as I can't play at their sites, I can't go anyway.
Not that you'd want to these days.
No.
But yeah.
Well, no. As I said though, the site itself is a fucking good site.
Yeah.
I actually disagree. It used to be a good site. That's my sort of 2 cents on it. It used to be a phenomenal site, but obviously, since they dumped all that rubbish there years ago, it sort of gradually went downhill. But it's going to happen, I suppose. It's a rented site. But now I've heard they've closed the stairs. Or they closed the upstairs for a while because of insurance, and they're bringing it back now. So that might be an interesting one to hear about for people who do attend Anzio. Just seeing Keith's comment there.
Yeah, we're not going to read that one out loud because that's an ongoing situation that we couldn't possibly mention.
We couldn't possibly comment. Yes.
Yeah, we can't comment on the show because we don't want to be held in contempt of any proceedings that may be ongoing.
No.
You can do your own research on that one, guys.
Yeah.
You can comment on Drillgate, however.
Yeah.
We'll not beat a dead horse.
We encourage that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, Drillgate, that's been resolved. To be fair, they've actually done the right thing for once, which I never thought I'd actually say about F&O, but that's another.
Again, I think purely from the dog pile of the community, just consistently shitting on them for a good couple of days.
As well.
Yeah.
The invite remains open to both of the events/sites that we've been discussing.
Well, this is it, we've always offered the opportunity for NAF to come on the show whenever they've done something stupid, which has been all year pretty much. This goes right back to when the "Don't Be Poor" message made its way around, and basically, I think it's Dan that owns 01 turned around and sort of said, "No, I don't think I'd have anything interesting to say." Well, hang on a minute. There's people crying out for some sort of feedback.
Communication is all that people are asking for most of the time.
This is it. And F&O again, he just refuses to engage because he had a tantrum because we left him a negative review.
I wouldn't think it was that negative. It was constructive.
Well, no, this is it. But I mean, it wasn't a glowing review of his site. Is what his problem was.
But it could have been.
And then he decided to just cover it up by throwing out accusations of being sponsored by Level 2, just because we had a better day there, basically. Simon Lamb saying there, Anzio has so much potential if it was run right. I think this is it. The actual site, obviously, you say about the rubbish that's been dumped there. I've never known it before that.
You see, I'm 31. I've been playing since I was 13, and I used to go to Anzio. When I first got my first car, so that was sort of 18-ish. And I remember pre-rubbish, and it had normal roofs, and the pub area just above the car park that was dry, and it was a very different site because the grass was trimmed down. You could actually there's a car park on the left hand side of the site, a bit further up.
Yeah, we know about that one as well because we got sent there and then got screamed at for not having iPro on when no one told us that we needed iPro.
It's a very different site to what it used to be. Nothing you couldn't fix, mostly with a strimmer, but it is what it is.
With regards to what it actually is, you've got lots of buildings. It's a nice urban environment, and if it was cleaned up and run properly, it could be a great site again.
I think a lot of the improvements needed are just more communication between the staff, to be honest.
I would.
It's not great, yeah.
I would argue in First Nailie's defence, I think a lot of the staff are good. And from what I've heard, it's the sort of the hierarchy, to put it politely, that sort of makes it difficult.
I can absolutely see that, yeah.
It's the gingerhead mong at the top of it.
I've not been banned yet, so I'm not going to say anything.
I like the way you said yet.
No, yet. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we're on
there's still time. There's still time. By the end of the show.
Yes, I'll probably get an angry rant message soon, or just a generic email to Nemtech.
Yeah. Now he'll just change your details on his booking system to band at Nemtech.
Yeah, Nemtech man bad.
Yeah.
I've just seen a comment from Cosine Headless Chicken Squad, the Don, on Instagram saying Anzio under F&O is like giving Gareth Southgate the current England team.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Oh, Don, if you're listening to this, dude, if you fancy coming on Nemcast, give us a shout, by the way. Because I messaged them the other week. I don't think.
Whoa, get out of here with the dirty plugs.
Yeah. What does this kick button do?
I just like to talk to people. That's all.
Remember who showed us this?
I mean, to be fair, it is kind of.
Then someone crashed their fucking car.
Good point.
But,
a Munkjack deer ran into my car.
Yes, still counts.
Yeah,
but,
yeah. It's all right. I got a free from someone at a zoo because he said they're an invasive species anyway, so it's fine.
That's all right then. I noticed someone commented again, Greg, and yes, I will say Greg. Do you think F&O are trying to be a leading voice in airsoft or the UK airsoft community?
I think they think they are.
Yeah, or they think they are.
Because I know they have notoriously low FPS rules, generally speaking, and confusing FPS rules. As a tech, when I ask people where do you tend to play, if they play at an F&O style site, I will ensure their gun is 20 FPS under, guaranteed. Because it's just not worth the hassle.
No. Especially when we went up to Anzio and Keith's gun chrono differently on 3 different chronos.
Yeah.
But not even like
old school ones, isn't it? They're like a big box with like a square cutout. Because when, I think it was about a year ago when we went, I took 2 guns. There was an AK, a generic, just AK, and a Val, my AS Val. And the AS Val wasn't firing, because obviously I built both of them. I know the Val isn't as hot as the AK. The AK passed, the Val didn't. On the same chrono, and the Val didn't read as hot as the AK, but somehow it didn't pass.
Yeah.
And I sort of went, well, why hasn't it passed? He says, oh, because you have to sort of take one gun at a time when we went. And I went, oh, it's not the end of the world. I'll put the Val back. I don't want to kick up a stink. I'm just going to play the day with the AK. Then I played for the first game, and then one of the marshals kindly pulled me to one side. He says, the other chrono's up and running. Just come bring your Val down. So I brought it down. It passed on the other chrono. And I said, why is that? Why is it passed now? He says, oh, it's the different chrono. And the other one, if the sun's facing a certain direction, it can mess it up.
If the moon's a waning gibbon, if the donkeys are howling at them,
you've not performed a certain ritual, then yeah, it's just buy a new chrono.
Hulk on Instagram Mr. Hulk, the legend, was saying he's very much sort of going towards a Germany style thing. Courtney, do you think we would be comfy with the 1 joule limit?
No, get in the bin. I'm up for more FPS personally. I mean, AEG's 350 FPS, that sort of dual limit, etc. is fine. DMRs are a sticking point for me. Quite often, I'll get people coming, can you do me a DMR at 400 FPS type thing, on a 2. Obviously, going to run heavier BBs and build it to suit. And it's just pointless. A DMR at 450 is much better. And I think having that sort of mindset of lower FPS across the site, it generally drags the whole thing down. It's a slippery slope, isn't it? I miss sort of big boy rules. If it hurts and you're moaning about it hurting, don't go in the building.
Don't play airsoft.
Yeah, you're in the wrong game.
Maybe it's not the game for you. Yeah.
Maybe crochet
or put more layers on. Put more layers on. Put a full face mask on.
Yeah.
If we get back to the subject in hand anyway, actually, because I've just had a message. Unfortunately, no. It's at the end of the day, we did come on to talk about NAF and their shit show.
Yeah.
I did actually message an individual from UCAPU about this incident as well. Unfortunately, he's not been able to get anything back to us, but I will approach UCAPU and see if we can get a statement on their opinions more than anything, because, the argument I've had as well.
What is UCAPU? Just for those who don't know.
So UCAPU is the UK Airsoft Players Union. Basically, over the years, they've had sort of the likes of Matt Fury King, who I'm sure Courtney will remember.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he was in charge of it, and basically when the EU were trying to bring that legislation in, he was one of the people from UCAPU that actually jumped on a plane and went to Brussels to get this resolved. But UCAPU have been key with basically trying to make sure airsoft was regulated fairly.
Yeah,
when they tried bringing in the rules and not just chucked in the bin, you can't do this. They've been an advocate for it. They will provide assistance to people if they have any legality issues around their rifts, etc., etc. So they're there as a support for the players and a voice for the players.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for folk like them, we'd end up like Australia, where we've just got gel blasters, which then get him. You're just one step closer to paintball.
Yeah,
and
we're better than that. So
we are better than that.
You've been listening to Justin too much, haven't you?
How can you tell?
But I'll be interested to see what their opinion is. I'll try and get it for Thursday night's episode for those who are coming on for the main show this Thursday coming. Because they just announced that they were going as this came out. And as I said to my contact there earlier, I asked him how UCAPU felt about potentially being at an event where a lot of guns are going to fall foul of the laws. Obviously, I've never known anyone actually be arrested for having a hot gun, etc., etc. And I think a lot of things would have to go wrong for you to be in that situation in the first place. But at the end of the day, people have said if they're going to change a gun, they're going to change a gun. Yes, they are going to change a gun if they're going to change it at the event. But if you chrono it at the start of the event, then
that in between,
there's no excuses.
Yeah, it's as close as you can get to safe.
Yeah.
That way.
What about the people that are running HPAs? Because if they don't have to re-chrono, then their rig's not going to be locked off, potentially.
Exactly. I mean, prime example, AGs can do it now as well. You've got to remember. Scorpion Evo, good example. Stock off, quick change spring. You can do it with your thumb. Change the spring for a big chunky one and you're away, aren't you? But it's not that I'd recommend doing that.
Yeah.
But
please don't do that if you're going to enough.
But
you do that, your mum's a hoe and your dad sells Avon.
Yeah. Agreed. But it's just a shit show, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I've been asked. Everyone's asking what's under your hat, Courtney.
Your hat is getting a lot of
what's
love.
under your hat.
Your hat and what's under your hat. I have a hat too.
Yeah. It's because I'm fucking bald, and they never end up. They just take the piss constantly.
So Brotherhood of Nods have said, place your bet someone in the chat is going to get banned. This is another thing as well. So when I got the messages from these individuals who were letting me know about the pre-chronoing, the reason they've asked to be left anonymous is because apparently H from Ground Zero is notorious for basically doing a Jamie from F&O. If you speak out against the site, he'll ban you.
Yeah.
And, these guys, a lot of the guys
They
that
don't want
have
that
done
negativity in their community.
This is it. But, the guys that are letting us know about this are regular players of that site, and obviously it's their local site. They want to keep going, but it doesn't mean that they agree with what's going on.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of sites recently cropping up that are starting to do things right. A recent example that we've played at is South Hearts Airsoft. That is a site that is doing things well, and they're going from strength to strength, and they've only just been around this year, really, or late last year into this year. I think it's actually the first wooden site we've been to where we haven't had a bad day in a while. Obviously excluding the Warzone weekender. We were in the town.
I wouldn't call that particularly woodland. There are woodland elements, but I wouldn't call it full woodland. Personally.
Yeah. But this is it. So it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. Really and truthfully, we just wanted to come on tonight to just give people a heads up of is what's going on.
If anybody has got any questions or comments,
I've just noticed Kez has commented just sort of that. Kez has put airsoft boomers think they know best because they've been in the industry a long time.
Yeah.
It's sort of old guard syndrome, isn't it? Because they've done it for the longest, they're established. They sort of sit on the king's throne as such and can just make their own rules and everyone go fuck. Which, it's their own business. They can do as they please. But people don't tend to tolerate that shit anymore, do they?
Elliot John Barry saying no one cool is called H.
And there's a lot more people nowadays that will call out bad or poor sites as well.
This is it. At the end of the day, people in the airsoft community are looking out for other people, which is why we've done this episode tonight. We've seen shit going on. We want to give people an informed choice, basically, so they can actually review it and go, no, I don't actually want to go to this event because it's not safe for me.
I've recommended, say last year after the last NAF event, because I enjoyed last year. I had customers saying to me, are you going next year? And I was like, yeah, it's a good event, you should go. And then this year I've had to sort of say to them, look, maybe not with everything that's going on. And now I just simply can't recommend it. As long as this chronoing rule stands, I can't recommend it because it's just not safe. It's simply not safe. You can't police it. You can't ensure people's safety. It's certainly not going to be insurable.
No.
In theory.
Well, how much are they telling their insurance? I'd be interested to know if their insurance knows all this is going on.
I don't think they've thought of it. I don't think they've thought that far. If they've put this stupid idea into the ether and then they've stuck to it, I genuinely don't think they've gone that far. But,
I mean, this is the thing as well. Sorry, I'm watching Hulk being a troll to South Hearts Airsoft on the comments on Instagram. So, my thing is as well. I've lost my train of thought now. Actually,
it's okay. I've just noticed Simon in Facebook chat regarding FPS limits. Don't you think we should chrono on duels? Now, MIA, which is our local site, formerly Matlock Combat Games, Pete, the site owner's got this thing where he's got some little scales. So we've got a couple of sets of scales going and a chrono that reads both FPS and joules. And then we'll say what weight you're running, drop us A, B, B out. We'll quickly weigh it. It's quite efficient once you get into the swing of it. And then chrono the gun on both FPS and joules, and then it's foolproof, isn't it? Make sure the hop's set so they're not over hopping to all hell to reduce the FPS. And you're going to be fine.
That's what South Hearts did when we went to their charity game, which I haven't seen before. Well, I don't think I've seen it that many times. And they will get you to fire a few rounds first, and they will watch your rounds the way they're travelling to make sure that you're not over or under hopping.
You can do that, can't you? If you wind your hop just about off, your FPS will be increased slightly. If you fully send it to the moon, it's going to be reduced because you're applying back pressure to the BB, slowing that thing down to make it spin faster. So yeah, at MIA we tend to make sure the hop's set, a couple of rounds down, right, what BB's using, weigh it, FPS joules, check the chart, because every marshal will have a chart on them. Yeah, you're good to go, put a tag on it, off you fuck. That's generally how it should be.
Yeah. Well, this was the other thing as well, you know, I took my SRS, which has been heavily upgraded to NAF last year, and the first thing they did was stick a 0.2 in the mag. I'm running 4.5s in that thing, so there's a lot of difference between a 0.2 and a 0.45.
Yeah, nothing worse than chrono on 2s. I think Neg brought it up in a video a while back. More of a rant than a video, as is his sort of traditional style.
That's all of his videos.
Yeah. But he said, you know, if someone tries to put a 2 in your mag or make your chrono on 2s, just say no. And he's completely right. It's 2 5s and onwards, really, personally. I think they've got a big hurdle to jump over at NAF. They're going to have to really figure some shit out.
This is the thing, and you know, we have been vocal, and I have had the discussion with a couple of people that are friends of the guys that organise it, but at the end of the day, no one is really speaking out against it. There's too many people that are speaking out in private, but won't go online and say these things for fear of retribution or getting banned. You know, if they ban me, oh well, shit happens. I'm going to go to another fucking site.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't want to encourage people to just be in a culture of just bitching about everything constantly non-stop. It gets tiresome, doesn't it? But constructive criticism goes a long way with sites. So a lot of sites will actively ask, you know, how was the day? Anything you wanted to change? How did you find that last game? Or whatever. And it really does help. It's not, you can't compare it really. Just you can tell sites that don't ask for criticism. You know, sort of, again, not to keep harping on about it, but First and Only being one of them, they don't tend to absorb criticism very well, and it's starting to show in the community as a whole.
Case in point.
I was like,
Case in point.
Yeah.
Another thing that we were going to discuss as well is that they've very quietly dropped the night game by all accounts as well.
Well, I think they did last year, didn't they?
They did last year.
A night game.
They didn't have a night game last year, but apparently they've dropped it again, but not announced it.
I think didn't they get rid of that because someone hurt themselves or something?
I believe so.
Or they went out pissed, or...
believe the reasons are that it's due to insurance reasons.
If
so insurance knows about that, but not.
Yeah.
If people are expecting it, though, it's got to be advertised somewhere. So just be clear about it. I think really and truthfully, the main thing that we can take away from all of this is everything's just been piss poor communication.
No, I mean, it'd be really interesting just to get someone from NAF on here.
Yeah.
And just, you know, let them...
We've tried.
For transparency's sake, and just get them to just, you know, say, this is why we're doing this. What do you guys think? And then, you know, we can shit on them IRL. But
I think we should have H versus Peter Wallows.
The face.
It needs to give them the chance to offer their side of the story, so people can then be like,
"Well, this is it," you know.
Oh, okay, and make their own decisions.
Yeah, I mean, they might have a perfectly valid reason as to why they want to do certain things.
I've always said all along with this show, if I go on and I say something bad about a place, the offer is always there for them to effectively have a right to reply. You know, the offer is always there for them to come on our show and give their side of things at the end of the day. You know, it's the same with all these vendors that are defending it. You know, come on and hear the arguments from the people. You know, you're only caring because you've spent.
I was just going to say, they've spent money to get there, and they're going to make money from it, so of course you're going to defend it. Why wouldn't you?
Stop being soft in the head and get stuck in. But never mind. You can't. I suppose you can't force these things all the time. Yeah. At least, you know, putting stuff like this out there does help the community just sort of be a bit more brave. At least, you know, a few comments here and there, it gets fed back to the staff. They might watch this and go, yeah, maybe people have a point.
Our main thing is just be open and honest. if you are doing it, don't say that you got hacked and then do it on the quiet.
Yeah.
Fucking tell people this is what you're doing, and then listen to their reasons why it's a bad idea, rather than just going, fuck it, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And we're just going to do the dirty on it, and we're not going to tell people, and we're going to give you generic tags that you can buy off of Amazon. Other retailers are available.
Mm.
Do you think NAF will be in a similar position next year, or do you reckon they're going to learn from this year? That's the question. I mean, I might go next year if they learn from the lesson.
I don't think they will learn, to be honest.
I think they've got too complacent. The only time they'll learn,
they won't care.
Yeah, this is it. The only time they'll learn is when people stop giving them their money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Someone saying Howard failed the tutorial on Modern Warfare 2.
Another comment saying, I'd pay more money than NAF tickets to go and see Peter Wallow's roast Howard.
Let's see what... The roast of Howard, yes.
Yeah, it's turned into something. But, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always going to be vocal about this because I don't want players getting hurt. I don't want them going to an event blind and getting injured, because I don't think I'd be able to live with that on my conscience, that I didn't at least pre-warn someone.
Yeah, I mean, I know
if even one person comes away from this and says, we cancelled the event because of what you guys, and thank fuck I didn't go, then we've done something right for the community. We've
done something good. I remember last year that they weren't chronoing shotguns. That's one thing I noticed. They didn't bother. At the gas ones, anyway. Because a couple of our lads had shotguns, and they went, don't worry about that. Just let them through. So the chrono queue is slipping. Well, it's obviously slipping.
Don't know if you start getting tanked up doing it, though, and then they'll be on it. So this is it. I think the thing is as well, especially with all the theft last year as well, I
was going to say, it's not even just the chrono issue, is it? It's the theft.
I still want to know if someone did actually genuinely have their car stolen.
I didn't see any theft. And the past 3 years we've been going...
We personally witnessed it. I personally witnessed it.
Well, fair.
Almost.
I mean,
I called Adam and Andy in a panic, like, please help, come back.
We are always quite cautious, to be fair, because we've got an enormous bell tent thing that sleeps about 13 people. So we just tend to keep the sleeping kit and sort of toiletries, etc., in the tent, and then my big van will just chuck all the guns in there that we're not using, all the valuables that are locked in the van.
Imagine someone coming along and deciding to take your tent down, and then trying to
because it was in their way.
Yeah,
they were too lazy to walk 10 yards with their kit.
Really?
So they tried stealing. Yeah.
It was only literally by chance. They didn't realise I was in our tent next door, listening to them talking about, I could do with a smaller tent. Should we have that one?
These two girls came down and camped with us. We were staying till the Monday, so we were leaving all our kit up. The girls, I think they left on the Sunday, didn't they? Or did they stay till the Monday?
I think they were going Sunday night.
Yeah, that was it. They left late on Sunday, so obviously they'd emptied their tent, but they left it up because they were like, we'll let it air out and we'll take it down later, let it dry out and all that. Fair enough.
So they're all fusty.
Yeah, me and Andy were drinking, weren't we?
We were up in the bar, and then Ailey was like, I need to go have a lie down for a little while. Fair enough. Left it to it. All of a sudden, we get this panicked call of, you guys need to get back here now.
Yeah.
And
me messaging as well because the signal was crap, so they couldn't hear me. And I'm like, God.
And this couple basically had decided that they couldn't be bothered to walk from where their tent was to their car, which was 15 yards at most with their kit. So they said, fuck it, we'll take this tent with us, took it down, and we're halfway through putting it in their car when Adam went over and said, no, you ain't fucking having that, that's someone else's, and took it back.
Yeah. So I don't think they realised I was in the tent listening to them saying, we could do with a smaller tent.
Again,
that one's been left because the girls were out like socialising.
That's a new level of cheeky. I mean, I
was like, what's going on here? And I thought, I'll open the tent door and just sit and keep an eye on it, make sure nothing.
I could almost understand.
By the time I'd done that, they'd already had it down. I was like,
I could almost understand taking a tent if the festival's ended, people are leaving, you're in an empty field, and there's just another tent there that someone's obviously left.
Yeah, it's clear.
Some people just buy like an almost disposable tent,
and
they'll just bin it. I'd understand that because they'd be like, it's a perfectly good tent, I'll just take that, which is fair enough. But when the festival's still sort of rolling, quite strong,
still rolling, there's still people around, like in the area, like you didn't ask people in the area, is this your mate's tent or anything like that? Yeah,
this is it. And then they were supposed to have been banned from the event. They thought they were still going earlier this year. So H had lied about that in an email saying that he was going to ban them as well because they were still going as far as they were concerned.
How do you police that? That's a weird one because it's all right banning someone by name, etc., even a photo ID, but it's really easy to create a different email address, and it's really easy to just sit in the back of your mate's car.
Yeah,
well, we gave them all the information for these people so they could find out who they were.
Yeah,
and policed it properly with that because I literally went on someone's Facebook and found these two people and sent them all the screenshots of their information, the entire story of what had happened, backing up the two girls who'd messaged it or spoken to them there, and they were still going. So again, another reason not to go because I don't want to hang around with scummers like that.
I mean, I've heard people mention, and I don't recommend. For the love of God, don't do it. It's such a dick move. But some people are saying, "Oh, we'll just wear a band," because I've seen chats from other people who've screenshot it and stuff saying, "Oh, just wear a bands from last year. No one's going to know." And you think you could probably get away with it because there's so little policing. Like I said before, I'll strongly disavow. But there's going to be a lot of that shit this year.
Yeah, there's Poops McCool on YouTube who said, "What about that thing on Facebook with a guy getting banned and then it turned out he'd pulled a knife on a marshal?" That's a whole different story.
That's some...
We're nearly up on time now, and we're nearly up on time for tonight. But that is a story for another day. But yeah, I think we've sort of covered some good ground there. To be fair, we've done an hour already. Hulk sent
we
someone stole a
appreciate
bolt mag from
everyone's comments as well. Some very good points raised in the comments.
It has. And if you enjoyed the shit talking from us three, I know a lot of you have come for court, but if you want to join us as well, we're back on Thursday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, I'll be tuning in.
With Dan Airsoft, talking to him about his photography exploits and stuff like that, and his airsoft life and all that as well.
Thank you for having me on and dealing with all the fucking idiots in the comment section who followed me.
Chaos.
Okay,
someone's asked if Minnie's run out of wine, so someone obviously knows the show well enough. So thanks for your time.
You've got some hats that you're putting out pre-orders for.
Oh yeah, somebody was asking where the hats were from as well. So if you want to do a little plug, now's your chance.
Yes. Now, obviously, we've got hats for pre-order, or you just look on Nemtac's Facebook, you'll find it there. But if you want your own hat customizing, I highly recommend checking out Invictus Morale. Fantastic company. You guys have had your hats done as well, haven't you? By those guys.
Really I've known Invictus since he started, and I can swear by him. Kieran's a good guy.
Yeah, really, really nice chaps there. And they're very professional, really reasonable pricing as well. If you're doing like a bulk order, highly recommend it. So, yeah.
There's a lot of requests for you to take the hat off.
It's not happening. Fucking wait. They're all seeing me on Friday anyway, so they can fucking wait.
Yeah. So, I think you should court. We could do a 3, 2, 1, and then you can reveal.
I'll just do it now. Look how fucking smooth that shit is.
Wow.
So she get
I thought the sun had come back out then.
Here comes the sun.
It's alright, could be worse.
We're getting a request here as well from Harry saying Chairsofter Show and Nemtac Unit Night collab.
My missus is even bullying me in the comment section on Facebook now. She's jumped on.
Harry, we are going to arrange to go up to the Nemtac guys at some point. It was just last time.
We'll try and organise a game for us to go up at MIA or something.
Last time it was my car wasn't drivable.
I was going to say, I just decided to have an argument with Muntjac deal with his car, so...
Yes, the Muntjac won.
No, Adam won, getting that done in 3 hours so we could sit down just in time for the formation lap for the Grand Prix.
That was like a Formula One, like...
Pit stop.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so that's it from us for tonight. We will see you guys on Thursday.
Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Make sure you drop a subscribe wherever you're watching us. Until then, don't go to NAF.
Yeah.
Bye for now, guys.
Right.
Cheers, everyone.